A fine thing you reached us when you did. They would have burned the fishery next, mark my words. And the last thing this lot needs is another excuse to knock off early. Anyway, excuse the mess. If there's something you need, the clerk can get you sorted. Just watch your step if you have a mind to look around. The floors are slick and none too pleasant to fall on. Been running it 4 decades now. Reckon I can tell you what you want to know. It may stink of fish guts, but there's no place more critical to Stalworth's survival. Herds come and go, so there's seasons when our catch sustains the village. But try telling these folk as much. We go home each day covered to the elbows in fish oil and entrails, reeking of our work. Stalworth's shrinking, but it would disappear if we lost the fishers. I drive 'em hard, but I can't afford to do otherwise. Just about everything. I track the day's catches and see that our nets and hooks are in working order. My family's been in charge of the fishery since the early days of Stalworth. I know the best spots to find frost dive or an iron-toothed pike, and I make sure we don't overfish the speckleback. Need anything else?
You must forgive Zawa. I was not expecting you. Resting my eyes, I thought, waiting for the Malkachoa to bring me insight. It would seem I dozed. A good thing my master was not alive to see it. Are you real? Of course. I meant no offense, but I find it is best to ask when Malkachoa is involved. A small white mushroom. I have heard it called snowcap in these lands. It can reveal the true nature of many things. A teacher, not an owner. Zawa is a free man. Well, as free as any of us. I was freeing myself from vanity. Consider, how can one be vain who is bathed in the smell of dead fish? I had the idea when I passed this way earlier. I am pleased with the results so far. Yes, quite pleased. From battle, yes. I left them upon my enemies. These were struck against fear. These against pleasure. These against hatred. Those down there against greed and doubt. And these were for vanity. I cannot take credit for all of them, but I did most of the good ones. I put them there in battle to remind myself what is real and what is not. Our worst enemies are inventions of the mind, pleasure, fear. When we see them for what they are, we become unstoppable. I feel I have been close, but never for more than an instant. In the moment when the pain is sharpest, the world becomes clear. In that moment, I am a match for anyone. Of course, I am fortunate to have suffered so much. If I did not suffer, I would not aspire to free myself from it. I would wander from one unfulfilling goal to the next. More wealth, a better station. My soul would wither. But to search for a place beyond suffering's reach is to nurture the soul, to harden it against the elements. Suffering is the greatest gift the gods have given us, their most beautiful, perfect creation. It is the hand that turns the wheel. Gods know. What a way to travel the world. The usual way is to smear yourself with the ashes of the dead. But they do not burn their dead here, so I have to make do with what the land provides. The cold seems to conquer the smell. Even now, the scent hides itself. Disappointing. I was visiting a monastery not far from here. I found it empty, but I met a messenger as I left. He carried a call for aid. Seeing that he would find no monks at the monastery, I chose to go in their place. Zawa is no longer young, but in combat he is still the greatest of the Takan people. It seemed only right that he should go. I would not say I am hired. I seek no wage, and I promise no result. I have chosen a path, and my spoils come from walking it. And this fortress, this Durgan's battery, its people are gone. Zawa would know why. If one wishes to swim, it is no time to argue with the current. We are here together in this moment because a perfect force has willed it. Who is Zawa to argue? I will walk with you so long as the gods wish it so.
Did you think to escape me by climbing a mountain? I would have tracked you across the sea, thief.
Please, Master, have mercy! I kept the grimoire hidden safely away, and I can take you to it!
The book is nothing. If you had studied a little longer, you might have learned that. But no apprentice of mine will steal from me and live.
Wait, no!
Fish. Sweat. Sulfur. You approach the flames that Whisper Clan with the stink of stalwart heavy upon you. You fill our halls with dreams of battle and bloodshed. What right have cowards and agitators to protection? The villagers spy on our camps and spoil our hunts. They pick us off only to retreat behind their walls. Like a crack in the ice, they spread deeper into our lands with each waning moon. But we'll answer them blow for blow. And now you spread lies. They were from Wolf with many mouths. My clan was here with me. Leave off with your lies and threats if you mean to walk out of here. Yet they come with weapons in hand and mark their passage with the blood of my kind. And their strength fails, so they send you to carve a path through the fallen keep. Of course it does! It's the diseased carcass of a ruined civilization. It festers with restless spirits and rotten magics. I see. Ugh. Dreams. Hailstones falling like cannonballs from the ramparts. A frozen gale screeching through the tower door. My dreams drove me to found this clan. Now my dreams tell me that Stalwart's ambition will destroy us. Then let their spirits lie there among the dreams that infected them. And now you'll tell me why you're here. You may go in peace. But you will give up on Durgan's battery for good. Then take the bounty of your foolish predecessors. May it serve you better. You shall have the peace of flames that whisper. Though I wish you hadn't left so many dead in our caves. I hope your skills are as fine as your words. It is rare that a matron betrays her dreams.
Please help us!
Soldier.
Don't see many on these roads, and the few we do are hunters, woodcutters, or smugglers. I suppose you could say I'm a hunter. I'm looking for a fugitive from Raid Ceres, an indentured servant, and a wanted criminal. It's allowed in Raid Ceres, but this fellow, let's call him Ylif. He signed himself over, making him an indentured servant. Now that distinction isn't much heeded in the Dyrwood, but as you may have noticed, we're barely in the Dyrwood. Besides breaking his indenture, he slew his master's 13-year-old son, killed the boy before he fled. I figured that might be the case. Trouble is, I can't let you warn him. But don't worry, I got other uses for you. Plenty of merchant captains are paying good coin for galley slaves. Come along nicely and, maybe I won't tell them you were aiding a known child killer.
Any progress with Devala? Oh, thank the gods. Every last one of them. I never thought I'd see this day. And thank you most of all. Here, take this. And tell Hafrik that he can keep the rest of the week's fee. I'm off.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sneak up on you. I just... Well, you seemed preoccupied.
Mad old watchers, a cult on our trail. What's not to worry about? I suppose I've just noticed you acting a little, unusual lately. Talking to people who aren't there, remembering flashbacks of your previous life. I just want to make sure you're doing all right. You know me too well. But it does seem that our afflictions differ. Isilmir asserts herself now and then, but that's nothing new. You, on the other hand, you seem to be getting worse. I should let you rest. It looks like we'll have another full day tomorrow.
Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something. I see. Is it done? Is he dead? You have to understand, to think my son capable of what he did, that was not Saldren. The beast devoured my boy. And so, you did the right thing. Yes, he was my son. It was a cruel trick of the gods to give him a gift that brought him such joy and then to twist it. Difficult as it must have been, you did what you had to. The people of Stalwart are that much safer for it. You've brought me what peace the gods will allow me. This served me well in my younger days, and I hope that it will do the same for you.
Leave now. I can still peel the flesh from your bones. Careful. I killed the last wanderer I found in these parts. Consider it indigestion, and consider yourself lucky I've eaten. You again. Ugh. I could still kill you for this annoyance. Was that the rodent's name? I only know that he tasted mealy and lean. Centuries I've lived. I won't share my soul with some mewling youth. While he lived, his suffering became mine. And as he drew closer, his weakness infected my essence. I can never be strong while a soul twin of mine lives. Since I was a worm, sudden fits of agony and terror would paralyze me. I was a prisoner to experiences that weren't mine. Eventually, I noticed something similar in my fellow hatchlings. I felt their cries and shrieks become mine as they nipped and flew at one another. I don't waste my time with the mysteries of souls, what sunders them and how the turning of the wheel apportions them. What matters is power, survival. I killed as many of the other hatchlings as I could. I felt their pain, but I also felt parts of their souls become mine. I slaughtered and devoured, and the scent of blood drove my siblings into a frenzy. Our nest became a maelstrom of chaos as we fought, dying and feeding together. At last, only a handful of us were left. We were sickened by all we'd consumed and suffered. I eventually hunted down some of my missing siblings. Others returned to me in other skins and other lives, as that boy did. As interesting as this conversation has been, I've had enough of it. I'll take my chances.
My thoughts wander often to the lost builders of this fortress we seek. They were erased from the world. I wonder, was it meant to be so? After 2 centuries, I would not hold out hope. All things fade, and always sooner than we wish.
If you weren't gonna fetch the liquor for me, you didn't have to tell Havric about it. Now he's banned me from the inn altogether. Out of trouble? It was only a drink. Now I get to die sober when the ogres come back. Right, fair enough. What do you want?
These feuds between Ogre and Kith, I do not see them ending until one is wiped out. Or both. Most Akan have 2 choices. They can grow crops, or they can become Nalpazka warriors. I was the youngest of 5. A dreamer. The Nalpazga were always in my thoughts. They did not feel the same about me. 3 times I tried to join their ranks. 3 times I was refused. All that time spent dreaming, and I had not thought to prepare. I was lazy, uncoordinated, overweight. If they had not refused me, what shame I might have brought to them. They had no choice. Our high priestess had a vision. She saw me as chieftain, leading a host of Nalpazga warriors to victory over our enemies, the Kechmatl. Our last chieftain had died over the winter. A new one had not yet arisen from the Nalpazga, so the timing was right. The next day they brought me before Ishipilo, the great master of the Nalpazga, and I became his pupil. I still trained with the other instructors, sparred and meditated with my Nalpazga brothers and sisters. I learned from all of them. But learning from Ishipilo was a chieftain's privilege. He knew the secrets that could grant mastery over reality, invincibility in combat. When a Nalpazga was deemed a worthy successor to a chieftain, greater than all his peers, Ishipilo would take him in, prepare him for the future. I would not be as I am now without his lessons. Not all of them. When I was brought to him, I knew how unworthy I was. But if he disapproved, he never showed it. In my shame, I gave him everything I had. He tutored me for 7 years, and in that time I became greater than the rest. Then the day came when he was to teach me the final secret of the Anitle. This is the unbeatable warrior all Takan chieftains must become to protect our people. Ishipilo never showed. I found him in his study, meditating, or perhaps staring off. I couldn't say. Master, I said, is it time for me to learn to be the Anitle? Not yet, he said. And that was all. He never gave me another lesson. A year later, he was dead of old age. They named me chieftain, anyway. I thought so as well. I tried everything. Patience, rage, cleverness, acceptance. Not yet, he would say. Not yet. At any time, 2 people know the secret of becoming the Anitle, the chieftain and the master of the Nalpazga. When Ishipilo died, the knowledge was lost to us forever. Have I? You would ask much of one who knows little. Many things, enough to wear out your ears. I will spare you for now. Ishimidal is vast. Outsiders think of it as one land and its people as one people. But if you walk across it, you see that there are many Ishimidals. The Ishimidal that the Khan know is rich in soil and water. The crops seem to grow in front of you. We build our homes along the Aki River, and it is good to us. Though every so often it floods, so that the Khan do not forget their suffering. It would not be the rainy season without my neighbor Esley swimming after his escaped goats and nearly drowning. But home is an idea, no more real than justice or honor. My home is here now, wherever I stand. I hope to share knowledge with the monks of the Thousand Dreams. Their monastery lies east of here. They are said to be seekers of greater truth, like the Nalpazga. But if they still exist, I did not find them there. The ways of the Nalpazga can make little sense to an outsider. We are the warriors of the Takan. Nobles, peasants, it does not matter. We are souls caged in flesh, nothing more. But it is one thing to say it, another to know it. So we train until we know it, or until we meet our ends. I give this answer because it is what you wanted, but the Nalpazga would say different. They would say that we are nothing at all. Perfection. Look around you. The world is perfect. Every being, every moment, every death. Rarely do we see this. We stumble through life, lost in distractions. Every practice of the Nalpazga is a reminder to stop stumbling, to know the perfection. You think the world imperfect? Most would agree. Most would say the world is imperfect because we suffer. They imagine a world without suffering and dream of living there, and suffer all the more for it. This is their mistake. The world is perfect. It was created by a boundless wisdom. It is for us to learn why a perfect world requires that we suffer. Vanity is a snare that roots us to the ground. The way we see ourselves, the way others see us, these things are not real. They cannot be touched. The Nalpazga teachings reveal many such snares. Fear, pleasure, doubt, hatred. They hold us back if we let ourselves be caught. Then you see only what is truly there, and you suffer no longer. You become as a god, seeing things as they do. If you can loose yourself from the snares, then you are free. I meet people on the road, and they pity me. I have come to find it endearing. They see so many scars, and they wonder, how can the man beneath not be broken? A scar is a wound that heals, a living reminder of our power over suffering. They cause no pain, only the echo of pain, which cannot hurt you. Show me a scarred man, and I will show you a man who can overcome. The Malkachoa? At any time, it is rare that I have not eaten some. When you first try it, it seems a beautiful fantasy. You see colors you have never seen, meet creatures that are not there. With practice, you see that all it does is show you reality, the essence of all things, how they are alike and connected. I have watched trees grow and wilt before me. I have tasted meat and known the animal's life as if it were mine. But the Malkachoa often causes the stomach to empty with great violence, so it is not for everyone. If I did not suffer, I would not aspire to free myself from it. I would wander from one unfulfilling goal to the next. More wealth, a better station. My soul would wither. But to search for a place beyond suffering's reach is to nurture the soul, to harden it against the elements. Suffering is the greatest gift the gods have given us, their most beautiful, perfect creation. It is the hand that turns the wheel.
Back again? I told you. Of course, a fresh fool to replace the last fools. What brings you stomping through my workshop, eh? Straight to business, no nonsense. We appreciate that, don't we?
Anything for a breather from your endless yammering.
Hear that, Timora? Another who would tolerate your barbs and insults. But you come seeking the White Forge, like they all do. Boys with smooth cheeks and wild dreams. Girls with bright ribbons tied next to their scabbards. Old men and women, too, seeking a final blaze of glory before they're snuffed out for another turn at the wheel. Sound familiar? I have this conversation with every pig-headed swashbuckler those Postenagos and stalwarts send here. Go see Galvino, they say. Surely he'll help you.
Must have slipped their minds what a busy and important fellow you are.
I should have let them stone you. Would have silenced your endless rattling forever.
Then you'd have naught but those frostbitten inbreds for company.
The spiteful imbeciles destroyed my career, ruined years of work. But let us focus on the reason for your visit, yes? The villagers and their adventurers hammer and pry at the battery as if they were laying siege to some moldering lord's keep. But those stones were laid by some of the finest builders ever to have lived, disciples of Abidan in the truest sense. They will not fall by the whims of any kith, and the door itself, it is infused with living essence. Perfetto! This is the crux of the matter. The Pargrunen of Durgan's battery perished within their own keep, victims of a violent disagreement among their own commandants. Surely in the village you have heard stories, no? Disappearing caravans, tracks in the snow, screams from the high towers. The work of spirits still trapped in the battery, and a testament to those impenetrable walls. But the door of the keep, the one the Pargrunen filled with essence, it was made to listen, to recognize its masters. Traditional Aptapo cultures revolved around language. Words revealed who they were and where they were from. That is why you need a Kantek. That's the simple explanation. A Kantek is a statement of purpose, a declaration of identity. Each is unique to its stronghold. Thus, to enter a fortress like Durgan's battery, you would stand at the gate and recite its Kantek. To learn the Kantek, you must speak with one of the dwarves of Durgan's battery. A shame they are all dead, no? But no doubt their souls live on in one or two of the villagers of Stalwart, like fine wine poured into a cheap pot. But to identify them, that is the first problem. You would need the skills of an animancer. A watcher? Diverus? If this is true, then you could find a sole descendant from Durgan's battery, no question. But the greater difficulty remains. You would have to learn the Kantek from the dormant soul. And to do that, you would have to awaken it. Oh, yes. Whoever you awaken will live with the memories and the personality of a past life. Maybe peacefully, maybe not. That is why you must pay attention to the soul you would awaken, no? It is a monumental thing to impose on another, but these are the very people who wish to rediscover the White Forge, Verus? An awakening is merely the jolting of a dormant soul into consciousness. When such things happen normally, it is because something has reminded the subject of a past life, often violently so. Thus, to awaken one of the former dwarves of Durgan's battery, you will need to address that soul, and preferably by name. But show some care. When you examine these souls, whatever it is you watchers do, you may see images, memories. These are moments of special import. What you see will tell you much about the person, and perhaps the condition in which they awaken. Awaken them from a traumatic memory, and who knows? Maybe they awaken thirsty for blood. Or maybe you awaken someone else. Here, this has been tuned to the Aeon of Durgan's battery. Use it near the villagers, and it should tell you if one has a soul old enough to have come from the battery. Who can say? None have yet opened Durgan's battery. But the ones that came before you, I think they got close. You may wish to find them and see what they discovered. Most interesting. They spent many days at the battery door. This looks like something that once belonged there. You have much work ahead of you, as do I.
I'm going with him.
You? Go to Stalwart? Is this your macabre sense of humor, or has something gone to rust in that beautiful head I crafted?
No one will bother me while I'm with him. Besides, I can help him find people in Stalwart.
You haven't been to Stalwart in 13 years. And this Watcher sees souls. What help could you be? Besides, I have need of you here. You owe whatever remains of your wicked life to me. This charming specimen is a convicted murderer. The Devil of Carrick, she's called.
Mighty fine of you to start with my good qualities, and you wonder why we don't get more visitors.
Killed over a dozen people before they finally caught up to her in Stalwart. Perfect company for lonely camps and mountain passes, no?
Hey, I know how to start a campfire.
The only reason she's not a frozen corpse is because I convinced the old mayor to let me try an experiment. Into a work of art! Look at this! Craftsmanship worthy of a jeweler. Fully articulated joints, capable of grasping a pen and writing her own name.
And of crushing your throat.
Show me another smith anywhere in the Deerwood who is capable of such delicacy and precision. She is a masterpiece. Why build a fortress or a village or anything to make something that keeps, that... It was the early days of the Legacy. My peers in the colleges of Animancy were filling the Hollowborn with the souls of animals. I thought there was a better way.
One with a Plum Academy job back in Salona. Don't forget that part.
She committed her first crime in the village of Karak. Burned a family alive in their home. Did the same thing in half a dozen other villages, but the name stuck.
Here we go.
They were going to stone her anyway. Why not allow her to be put to some useful purpose?
My life's ambition. To serve somebody's useful purpose.
I approached Mayor Sinahiod and begged. He saw the potential and allowed me the privilege of attempting my little experiment. Then, I accomplished what few Animancers have even dreamed of. No academic support, no patron.
Just me in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, now you got 'em all wound up.
I transferred a fully intact soul from a living subject to a fabricated body. She retained her personalities, her memories, all of it. Yet the villagers saw only a stolen corpse. She may be mad, but she's no fool. She wouldn't survive long on her own. If the villagers didn't send a hunting party after her, the Eremans would claim her. Her joints and mechanisms require maintenance, and she cannot perform all of it herself.
See, he's reminding me, in case I get any bright ideas.
She's a fine specimen, her personality notwithstanding. Quay? No, you don't know what you ask. This woman, the Devil of Carrick, she was a notorious murderer, burned people alive all over the region. Besides, she works for me. After all, I am the one who preserved her. So you get use of the Devil's services, and I get the satisfaction of knowing those stiffnecks are sweating through their small clothes, eh? It's a deal.
Fine price for a blacksmith striker. Suppose I should be flattered.
And there you have it, a bargain. A moment. You are going back to Stalwart, yes? Perhaps you could do me a favor. There is a man in the village named Grinde, the head fisherman. The rest of Stalwart kisses his feet because he fills their stinking blades with speckleback. But I know he's not as virtuous as he seems. That self-righteous meddler engineered my eviction from the village. He turned them all against me. Now I want him to feel the scorn of those mush-brained imbeciles. Humiliate him, of course. Show his neighbors what he truly is, and let him live with the disgrace. He's always been a Ripple sponge addict. Just got good at hiding it once his sainted sister died and left him in charge of the fishery. But he keeps a stash in the fishery, sneaks in at night when the others have gone home, and emerges sluggish and red-eyed a few hours later. I want you to expose him. Go to the fishery after dark when it's empty. Find his Ripple sponge and show it to Renengild. Do not answer me now, but when you return to that festering eyesore and smell the stink of fish that hangs in the air, consider what I've said. Your misgivings collect like grime on a doorstep, but think, if this Grinde is a fraud, does he not deserve to be exposed? But be sure to approach the fishery by night, when it's empty. They will give you no end of trouble if they see you stealing during the day. As would I, but there is little to tell. They never gave their names. But they seem to know more about the battery than the others, which is unusual because they did not seem like typical adventurers. Their hands were smooth and marked with ink, not scars, and they traveled light, unusually so. Val himself could not have said, and I haven't the time to concern myself with the business of strangers. Something else? Quay? Other projects, they are none of your concern. For years I've been trying to create another like the Devil of Carrick. Yet those post-Enacos in Stalwart destroyed my machinery. Now, I can only create these broken, mindless things. The Devil remains my most perfect creation. Smugglers, slavers, fugitives, the kind of riffraff that pass this way. Rarely missed, and good work to keep my little devil busy. I can't present the Devil of Carrick to the academies, can I? A mad woman and a murderer? No. I need to bring a success to the Republics.